This will be interesting. Now, that is a nice problem to have when there's a Giulia Quadrifoglio key on one part and an Alfa Romeo 4C key on the other. As you can probably see over my shoulder, I'm not sure if the camera's picking up, but you can see my Alfa Romeo 4C. And there's a question, you know, should I sell the 4C for something like a Giulia Quadrifoglio? Now, before everyone gets all, oh my God, he's clickbaiting everything and you can never sell the 4C. I want to start with a couple of interesting points, because I put an Instagram story poll up the other day, and I kind of said, you know, which would you choose? Would it be the Giulia Quadrifoglio or the Alfa Romeo 4C? And it was I was actually quite surprised by the results, if I'm honest with you. It was around about 60, I think 65% of you said this car, and the remaining 35 said the Alfa Romeo 4C. Now, I can see why, because that car is definitely not a daily car. This car, I can use it for pretty much everything. Or you could use it for pretty much everything for those who voted. Also, this has the bigger, better engine. Let's not beat around the bush. This is 500 horsepower, but power to weight ratio, that is still very, very quick. That is also still very, very fun. Now, is this even a feasible thing to do? Hang fire. Now, I've opened up Auto Trader on my phone, and you guys should be seeing the same screen that I am. And I'm just doing a quick search for Giulia Quadrifoglio. There's 56 cars, and if I search these by low to high, actually, what we are now starting to see is you can pick up a Giulia Quadrifoglio for £36,900, 37k. That is starting to become a pretty ridiculous bargain when you think of what you get from this car. Now, if I have a quick look through here, so there's one at 36,000, one at 30, another one. Granted, these aren't the best spec cars, if I'm being honest with you. If I go down to one that really is nicely spec'd, where are we? There you go. We've got one at Tony from Gravelwood Car Sales, and this is a free plug for him. A nicely spec'd red with the teledial wheels. This is the kind of one that I would probably want to have. In fact, pretty much identical to what I'm using right now, what I'm sitting in right now. Now, what if I search 4Cs? Let's have a look at Alfa Romeo 4Cs. So at the moment, the cheapest 4C in the country, and bear in mind there's only 33 cars around, is 34,750 quid. It has quite nice teledial wheels. Granted, it's the 15 plate, 19,000 miles. So what we're finding, obviously, is that the 4C, in fact, you know what, guys? For those who keep trolling me to say that I need black wheels on my car, I don't think so. I think my car looks better with the silver wheels. Anyway, sorry, I digress. The point I'm trying to make is that actually in time, maybe in the next year or so, I actually might be able to trade the 4C in for a Giulia Quadrifoglio, because I think the Giulias are going to come down in price. And also with the new Giulia and Stelvio, which we're expecting to see very soon, I would envisage that these models will probably depreciate a little bit more. But anyway, so would I do it? Let's start the drive, and in fact, for banter, because it is showing 2 degrees, let's go into race mode, just because, oh, that noise. Let's just go into race mode because I think we should embrace it. So, yeah, let's join the main road. First of all, the Giulia has so much power, and actually, I mean, I'm on courses and it's 2 degrees, the tyres just don't work. So, I mean, just to give you an example, I'm pulling out of a road, and I'm just going to jab the throttle. I mean, again, we turn into a pretty undrivable car, which begs the question. Now, granted, the weather isn't very good at the moment; it's quite foggy, and this is probably the worst conditions really to be taking this car out. And that's one of the things, is that with the Alfa Romeo 4C, there is just enough power for me. Yes, the back end slides, and I'll quickly show you a clip from one of my previous videos where you can see that car snapping, the back snapping. But what you also get from that car is I feel you can enjoy it a little bit more across most of the weather conditions, because it's not massively overpowered, whereas this feels like at 500 horsepower with the 2.9 V6, I think you would struggle to drive this. Yes, put winters on it, of course, but even then I still think you would struggle to put all of that power down. Now, without question, this car for me is I love this thing. I absolutely love the Giulia Quadrifoglio. I've loved it since the moment I saw it, and for me at the moment it does still sit on my list of really kind of cars that I really want, like big time. In fact, look, we've got another junction here. Back into manual, into first gear. It's just hilarious. It's just ridiculous. It's just ridiculous. I mean, this car on a track, someone like Bolocco would be absolutely incredible and so much fun. And I would love. Do you know what? This is a drift machine. Like, it's a drift machine. Are you gonna let me through? Yes, thank you, mate. Thank you very much. That's very kind of you. But but in these kind of conditions, it's just no, it's just not. Now, I guess you're thinking, Steph, why have you got yourself a Giulia Quadrifoglio? Why are you in one, and why are you doing it again in the winter? Well, first of all, I guess I didn't really plan the timing right, if I'm being brutally honest with you, as I enter into ridiculous fog. I didn't really plan the timing right. I generally was really intrigued because I spoke to Alfa Romeo and I was like, you know, I actually would consider buying one of these cars. Is there any chance I can have one for a week and a bit, just so that I can get back into it, get a bit more of a feel, and you know, see if my love affair with the Giulia is still there? And I can tell you what, it definitely is. Now, the things that would benefit from having something like a Giulia is that you have the practicality element. You don't get that in the 4C. You definitely don't get that in the 4C. I've got some very, very nice and comfortable Sparco race seats with the carbon buckets, which are a must if you're buying one of these. From an interior perspective, I still think the Giulia interior is a little bit dull. The gear knob is very basic. The infotainment system looks like it's been pulled out of a car from, you know, the early 2000s. But that will all change, I assume, moving forward with any new models that come out. So I do think that as a driver, the creature comforts and the luxuries that you get from something like an M3 or a C63, the Alfa's just not quite there. But there's a question to say that, you know, when you're buying a Quadrifoglio, do you really care about the interior? I'm not so sure, because let's be honest, like when I bought the 4C, I bought it because it's a driver's car. I really couldn't care less about it. It has no, you know, no creature comforts interior wise. I mean, it has AC, it's got a radio, but the Giulia does that and so much more. Now, the thing is, as an overall car, for me, the Giulia Quadrifoglio is definitely, I think it's superior. I mean, look, here's a bit of fun for you. Look, first gear. I mean, it's just, do you know what this car is, guys? It's intimidating. That's what it is. The Giulia Quadrifoglio for me is a very intimidating car. You have to have your wits about you. I mean, can't see anything, but you need to be fully concentrated at the wheel, because at any given moment when you're really pinning this car, you know, the back will go on you. The back will definitely go on you. And actually, I guess that's part of the element around, you know, in the 4C, yes, it's snappy. In the dry, there's a lot of grip on that car because of kind of the mid-engine rear-wheel drive platform. Whereas with this, you've got the big 2.9 litre V6 sitting in the front with all that power, 500 odd horsepower being sent to the rear of the car. You know, I think if this was the only car that I could have, if it was a choice, you know, a one-car garage, then absolutely I would sell the 4C for a Quadrifoglio, 100%. And even if it wasn't the case, that, you know, there is part of me that would still kind of want one of these. I mean, let me know in the comments below, like, are you guys a fan of the QV? Because I love this thing. I think there's everything about this car I absolutely love. When it comes to the look, the design, the exterior styling of this thing. They've thought of everything. You know, you've got the active aero on this, an actual aero that works. The color, the lines just work perfectly. Most of the interior, I mean the seats, for me, I love the seats on this car. I think they are super comfy. If you spec it with the carbon buckets, you're winning. So that's definitely a must if you are going down that route. And of course you get the engine. You know, the heart of what's in this Alfa Romeo Giulia Quadrifoglio is the 2.9 litre bi-turbo V6. You know, arguably designed by, you know, the same guy who created the Ferrari California engine, or is it 458 engine? So yeah, there's definitely a lot of car for the money, and I really do think that now these cars are starting to become a ridiculous bargain. You know, for a car that was, I think, what is he, 60 grand list if you went to buy one of these new, to now be able to pick one up for, you know, £22,000 off list. I think that if anyone is wanting to buy a Quadrifoglio, I think within the next year or so, I think that they're going to be even cheaper. And then that will become a very serious proposition for me, definitely. I guess I need to think about what happens with the 4C. How does the market react to it? Do the prices go up? So I'd have to think about that. But in summary, I guess, would I sell my Alfa Romeo 4C for a Quadrifoglio? I think I would.